In this video, we'll be reviewing the relative pronoun and the interrogative pronoun and interrogative adjective. The relative pronoun, which is used to introduce a relative clause, like the boy who loves the girl is standing there, and the interrogative adjective, which is which boy loves the girl, is declined the same way and has the same forms in Latin. That's qui, qui, quod, and the genitive, remember, is cuius, 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 and the dative is cui, cui, cui. Notice that pattern of the ius genitive and the I dative, and then it's quem, quam, quod, quo, qua, quo, qui, 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 quorum, 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 quibus, 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 quos, quas, qui, quibus, quibus, quibus. The interrogative pronoun, like who is standing there, what's going on, has only a masculine and feminine share one form, and then the neuter is another form. So it's quis, quid, and then cuius, cuius, cui, cui, quem, quid, and quo, quo. So notice the quid is different than the quod for the adjective and the relative pronoun. And you also have the quis, which is different. And that the masculine and feminine share the same forms. After that, it's the same as the relative pronoun. Qui, 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 quorum, 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 quibus, 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 quos, quas, qui, quibus, quibus, quibus. Now a special guest lecturer.
Solvete omnes. Today we're going to talk about the use of the relative pronoun, or qui, qui, quod. So remember, qui, qui, quod can do two things in Latin. It can be used as a relative pronoun, or it can also be used as an interrogative adjective. We're not going to talk about the interrogative adjective right now, but let's talk about the relative pronoun. Remember, relative pronouns are part of a thing called the relative clause. Okay? And a relative clause is just a sentence that describes something. So, for example, we have the Romans fought many wars against the Gauls who lived in Western Europe. Who lived in Western Europe is a relative clause. It has a relative pronoun, who, and it describes Gauls. Okay, it's a giant adjective. So look here, the Romans whose houses and temples were burned did not like the Gauls. So where's the relative clause there? Great. It is whose houses and temples were burned. Alright. And then we look at number 3 here. Julius Caesar gave the soldiers much loot which they took from the Gauls. Where's the relative clause there? What's the sentence that's describing something? Okay. We have which they took from the Gauls. There we go. And then number 4, the Senate, which is an advisory body in Rome, declared many days of Thanksgiving. So where's the relative clause there? Which is an advisory body in Rome. Bam. Okay. Now, those are all relative clauses. And in Latin, we use qui, qui, quod for the things that's connecting it. Who, whose, which, and which. Now, the question I always have is, how do you know which form of qui, qui, quod to use? Okay? We know which form of qui, qui, quod to use by looking at its antecedent. Okay? The antecedent is just a fancy word that says, what does these guys refer to? So the antecedent of who is Gauls. The whose here refers to Romans. Which refers to Lut. Which refers to Senate. Okay? And the antecedent determines what forms of the relative pronoun. It determines the number, whether the relative pronoun is singular or plural, and also determines the gender. Okay? Now the case is determined by use in the relative clause. Okay? Use in the relative clause. If it's the subject of the relative clause, then it's nominative. If it's if it's possessive, it's genitive, and so forth. Also, I like to use this kind of like, I have a handy-dandy cheat sheet right here that you can take a look at. Who is nominative, whose is genitive, to, for, whom is dative, whom by itself has that nice little M there. It says I'm accusative, by, with, from, whom is ablative, and you have which, it's followed by a verb, it's nominative. If it's which, followed by a noun or an adjective, like the or something, most of the time it's accusative. Okay? So let's take a look here. So who refers to Gauls. Gauls are masculine plural, and who is, we look there, it's the subject of the relative clause, so we go with the nominative, and that would be qui. All right, whose refers to Romans as masculine plural. Okay, because Romans are masculine plural, a group of people. Whose there is genitive, it's possessive, so that would be quorum. And then we have the trickier ones here. Which refers to loot. Okay, loot is feminine, it's singular. Now, which they took. They took the loot from. So there in the relative clause is accusative. Also, you can use the handy-dandy cheat sheet. Which followed by a noun or an adjective, most of the times accusative. So we go quam. And then we say the Senate, which is the advisory body in Rome. Which refers to Senate. Senate is masculine, singular. And this followed by is, which is a verb. So that is nominative on our cheat sheet. And so we just go qui. And there we go. All right, if you have questions, please just talk to me. Volente omnes lingua latina est vita.